What is the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Hey guys, welcome back to Why Should I Read That? I'm John, and this is the book The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. This book was published in 2013 and immediately jumped to the top of the New York Times Business Book bestseller list and stayed there for a while because people are so interested in achieving extraordinary results. And Keller and Papasan say in this book that the narrower you can make your focus, it has a direct correlation with how extraordinary your results in life are. In fact, they say that we need to narrow our focus all the way down to a single thing. And we're going to talk about that one thing during this video. Now, there are a lot of other things in this book, and I'll get to them shortly. But I want to point out the fact that, and ask you this same question, like I've been asking myself, what is the one thing that I could talk about in this book? So here is the focusing question from Keller and Papasan. They ask you to think through this. What is the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Now that bears repeating. What is the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Now, I don't expect you to have an immediate answer for this on broad categories. What's the one thing in your life that you could do that such that by doing it? Or what is the one thing in your business right now? But it is worth asking the question because it forces your brain into a process of determining your priority and understanding that there is one thing that you can do that's going to make everything else easier or unnecessary. Here's a good example from my own life. As I looked at starting a YouTube channel, I have a lot of things that I want to do, but I knew that during this past year, 2016, I needed to increase the range of books that I read and work on public speaking, presenting skills, and some things within video editing and that sort of thing. It's a valuable skill set that I wanted to acquire. And I understood, I had not read this book yet, but through some other books that I'd read already, that if I started a YouTube channel, I would be accountable to all of you, the world, whoever's watching, that I would continue on with that thing. So by starting a YouTube channel and sticking with it, that became my one thing that made everything else, reading consistently, building my presenting skills and working on video editing and other things corollary to that, that became my one thing that made everything else easier or unnecessary. It didn't make the work any easier and it didn't make the work unnecessary, but by starting a YouTube channel and being accountable to everyone else, I made that my one thing in 2016. And here I am 40-something videos later, and I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun for me. So I ask you that question as well. What is the one thing that you can do in your personal life that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? Or in your business life, potentially. I have a marketing company and I'm able to ask businesses that question. What is the one thing in your digital marketing, in your online presence of your business, that if you do that one thing, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Perhaps it's gaining attention for your business or having the awareness, click-throughs onto your website or having a good website. Whatever it happens to be, I guarantee you there's one thing that you can start with, and by doing that one thing, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. Now, again, I mentioned this book has so many other things that are worthwhile checking out. They talk about lies that we believe about our own productivity. They talk about time blocking and building up habits. I have to give a huge shout out to their section on willpower, one of the best that I've ever read, talking about how your willpower is a finite resource and strategies for maintaining your willpower throughout the day and getting more done because you have the will to succeed. But again, don't want to get too far away from our one thing in this book. I encourage you to ask that focusing question of yourself. Apply it to as many areas as you can, and understand that you're not going to arrive at your one thing immediately. But like my friend Dan Ram says in many of his public appearances, he says, you need to start now and you need to start simple. Don't worry too much about the forever goal or what your life's purpose at this point. That's a process, it's going to come. But I encourage you to start now, to start simple, and get on the process of figuring out your one thing. Thank you so much for watching this review of The One Thing. Guys, I enjoy making these videos. It's fun for me to synthesize some of the knowledge from the book and share it with the world. If I earned your subscription or brought you value, I encourage you to like the video or subscribe. If not, no big deal. I'll catch you next week with a different video, hopefully that you'll like better. See you later.